Ooh.
Bit of extra polarity of the internet flow. Good evening, good morning, good morrow, whatever time of day you're at. Willkommen to this audio fan commentary on Doctor Who, The Three Doctors. Yes, this is a very special story because it is actually the 10th anniversary special of the show as a whole. And the reason for this is actually because I actually recently purchased this story on Blu-ray. I bought the Doctor Who Season 10 box set, the standard version, not the limited version. I'm not that rich, unfortunately. But, yeah, and I'm joined by my good friend Jack, the film fanatic, once again, who's also a massive Doctor Who fanatic. And I think we're both in agreement on this story. It's definitely one of the best Jon Pertwee stories, although it does feature two other Doctors, as the title alludes to. Once again, this is just a non-profit commentary. We're not doing this for money or anything. We're just fans simply commentating. And obviously we can't show the image for legal difficulties. So if you want to follow along with us, when we press play, you press play, put your DVD or Blu-ray into 0, and then do it that way. I know it's awkward, I apologize, but it's the best we can do, I'm afraid. So, Jack, is there anything you want to say before we kick this into gear?
Yeah, great to be commenting on the Three Doctors. Sorry, I mean the Three Doctors. That'll be good.
Yeah. But yeah, so and yeah, this also features one of the greatest Doctor Who villains, in my opinion, Omega. But we'll touch on that in just a second.
yeah, and just to be sure, he's not the Watch Omega. He's the villain Omega.
Yeah, not to be confused with Bond, James Bond.
Yeah.
So, Jack, do you want to count us in, or shall I do it?
Yeah, sure. 3, 2, 1, play.
Let's do it. Oh, wow. Those titles look great.
Especially in the...
Oh, yeah. You know, this is also one of the best Pertwee stories because it's one of the best paced. And it helps that it's actually 4 parts. I mean, they could have made it longer if they wanted to, but I'm glad it's 4. It doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah. Bob Baker and Dave Martin, who also wrote The Claws of Axos, and will go on to write The Invisible Enemy.
Yeah. Which won't be for another few seasons at least.
Yeah, I mean, funnily enough, talking about this season, yeah, I mean, this is the longest anniversary special, technically, because it's an hour and 40 minutes. The 5 Doctors is 90 minutes, and Day of the Doctor 75 minutes. So it seems to be each anniversary special gets shorter, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that is. I mean, you would have thought that like certain stories in the classic era, they would have made it like a proper epic, like a 6-parter or a 7-parter. But I guess because the anniversary is on only one date, maybe that's why they just decide to do it in like a almost treated like a short film. Sorry, like a sort of 90-minute film in a way, which the 5 Doctors feels a bit like. And actually, I'd argue maybe this one feels a bit like as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the longest anniversary special at an hour and 40 minutes. It's 4 parts, so it's like a standard story. I think it would have been too long at 6 parts, and the 5 Doctors is a one-off 90-minute special, and then Day of the Doctor is a one-off 75-minute special. But it's interesting how this story came about, because apparently the fans said to the Doctor Who production team, they said, "Oh, for the 10th anniversary, you should bring back the other 2 Doctors," and they thought that was a terrible idea, so they didn't go with that idea. And then they thought, well, actually, we never had the other 2 Doctors in the show before, so we can, bring them back.
Yeah, and also because the fact is, the show is about time travel, so the Doctors can all cross over at different points in time, so that allows the actors who have left the role to return, and it's proved to be a pretty successful move on both parts. And you know, I think it makes the celebrations feel more grander when you have more of the Doctors there. I mean, we'll never get a story with all the Doctors in, unless we have very clever editing. But yeah, this story is great, and it's actually it is a nice way to kind of, you know, culminate the last 10 years. Well, sorry, the first 10 years of the show, which have been quite amazing. Really, it's been quite an evolution in Doctor Who within the first 10 years.
Yeah, and you've had 10 Doctors. Sorry, you had 3 Doctors in 10 years, and it's gone into color, and you now have it set on Earth in the unit time. And it's great they brought back Troughton back for this story because, you know, he hadn't been away from the show that long. He'd only been away like 3 or 4 years. So when they brought him back for this story, he didn't look that much older. He looked pretty much the same as he did when he was making his stories in the black and white era, you know. But yeah, I mean, I really like Pertwee's outfit in this one. It's probably one of my favorite outfits that Pertwee wears. That sort of red jacket with the black bow tie.
Yeah, I actually agree. I think it's a very good outfit, and actually it really suits his Doctor. I like his one, his outfits quite a lot. I mean, he changes the coat, the sort of the blazer every so often, but yeah, the red one is good.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think Joe Grant's really great in this one, and Brigadier, and I also like this character. He's only in this one story, Dr. Tyler, but
yeah. I wonder if Russell
you know,
got the name of Rose Tyler from this guy.
Yeah, maybe he did. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if like
I'm just sitting here eating chips.
It would be nice if like he was related to Rose. Like maybe he was like her uncle or like great uncle or something like that. Yeah, granddad. Yeah.
I mean, you know, that would actually be quite a good fan theory, to be honest. I mean, Jackie in Army of Ghosts speaks about her dad, you know, Rose's granddad. So I don't know. Maybe they could be subliminally, you know, it could be this guy. You never know. Well, then again, his name's Tyler, so it'd probably have to be Rose's dad's dad if that was the case. But yeah, still, it's a nice theory to kind of explore.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite jokes in Doctor Who, when he gets the Brigadier to pass him that rod, and he just uses it to stir his tea. Really funny.
I like the Brig in this one because he you know, he thought having one Doctor was bad, but having 3 of them was yeah. I love that line he says towards the end where he's like, 3 of them. Didn't know when I was better off.
Yeah. He just doesn't care for the Doctor, you know, messing about.
How I wish that they got the Brig in sooner in the new series. Russell could have sneaked him in a cameo much sooner. Then they might have had a chance to get him in.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably Nicholas Courtney's best performance as a Brigadier, because he is to be very you know, stern with the Doctor. You know, he doesn't mess about. But I mean, I kind of like this stuff here about the beams of light that are transporting people and objects. And we find out later on it's a black hole, and he's gone.
Yeah, isn't it like some kind of antimatter?
Yeah, it's an antimatter creature. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like. I actually think the antimatter creature works better in this story than it does in. What's it called? The
Planet of Evil.
The Planet of Evil. Thank you. Yeah, I know you're probably going to disagree with me, but yeah, I think it makes more sense in this story.
I prefer this story, but I love both of those stories. I'm not going to be slagging off Planet of Evil, but yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, the quality is amazing. They've done a fantastic job at restoring, you know, this old classic.
Yeah. He's been transported for the Black Hole, Brigadier.
Brigadier. I kind of like how stern Pertwee is, actually, as the Doctor, but also the Brig has a similar sort of sternness, which is probably why they bounce off each other quite well.
I think that's why he clashes quite a lot with the Doctor, because the second Doctor wasn't as stern as the third Doctor. He wasn't as serious, so they're both like quite serious guys, so that's why they clash a bit more than the second Doctor and the Brigadier.
Yeah, absolutely. That music was good, actually, and also Bessie. Nice to see Bessie come back.
Yeah. I mean, this effect's a little bit dated, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, props to Pertwee. I mean, there's nothing there. I mean, you could see it on the screen, but he wasn't really reacting to anything. And, you know, his acting's pretty good there.
Yeah, I mean that's the wonderful thing about Doctor Who. You have to have imagination in order to make it seem real, you know. And yeah, the effects are dated, but the actors, I think, more or less sell it in terms of the reality of their situation. And I think that's a credit to the actors in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw an interview recently with John Levine, who played Sergeant Benton, and he said he really appreciated John Pertwee and Nicholas Courtney because before Doctor Who, he hadn't really acted in anything, and he didn't think he was a good actor, and he said he was very nervous, and he got upset or whatever because he thought he wasn't, you know, a good enough actor. But like John Pertwee and Nicholas Courtney and all, they sort of boosted him up and made him feel better about himself. So, you know, and I think he's pretty good as Sergeant Benton.
Yeah, I agree. He's actually pretty good. I mean, I think they've ruined the character of Yates at certain points. And Benton, I think, is completely ruined. Is it the Time Monster where he turns into a baby?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
they fucking ruined his character.
Yeah, that was actually the previous story, the Time Monster.
Yeah, I can't believe how badly they ruined that, and then they ruined Yates in Invasion of the Dinosaurs.
You know, eventually when they release season 9 on Blu-ray, we should do a rant on the Time Monster.
Yeah, I mean, well, if I can treat it as an optical illusion, then yes. I mean, it takes. Not bother with the first 4 parts because it takes ages to get to Atlantis.
Yeah. I will say this, so I'm kind of glad that Mike Yates isn't in this story because I mean I'm kind of surprised he's not in this story considering that they've got the rest of the unit team, but I'm kind of glad he's not in it because I've never been the biggest fan of Yates. I mean, he's all right, but yeah, later on they brainwash him and he becomes a bad guy, and it's like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, exactly. It's just a really weird character move to do. I don't know why they did it. I don't know what they thought they were. I don't know what they were thinking. But that story is a mess, to be honest. But yeah. Actually, I think this is Jo's best season as well. I mean, she's one of the longest, like in terms of seasons, one of the longest female companions. Like she's in 3 seasons. I think this is where she really steps up. You could see how she evolves into a much more confident, more knowing character. Because before, when we first see her, she's kind of unknowing and she's kind of ignorant to everything around her, and she's oblivious. But I like that they kind of changed their character a lot, which was good. She wasn't dumb as such, but she was very unobservant. And obviously the Doctor took a while to warm up to her. But I think it was handled really well, and obviously her exit in the end of this season is quite emotional, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, those are called the gel guards.
Yeah. I mean, these are a bit dated, but they do look pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, they're kind of goofy and fun, you know.
I can't actually wait till they animate Galaxy 4 because of the fucking wedding cake aliens.
Yeah. And it turns out these aliens are working for Omega.
See, this story just gets on with it.
Yeah.
It just really throws you right in. There's no build up, or very little build up. It's like, no, we're going to deliver a spectacle, and they do. This could even be like a film. They could have released this in the cinema, and it would have done really well.
Yeah. I mean, we're nearly at the end of part 1. It's only been on 13 minutes. It already throws you into the action, like you say.
Oh wow, 13 minutes. That's crazy. Some first parts do tend to drag quite a lot for some of the stories, but not this one.
Yeah.
They threw everything at this, and also I guess because they had so much to do with bringing in Omega and the other 2 Doctors, and there was going to be a lot of like the first part was always just going to be quite of something that needed to just throw you in and get you excited and revved up, whereas the other 3 parts had to just follow through in the story.
Yeah,
I think this is one of the best directed classic stories, personally.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite classic stories of all time. I've always really loved the 3 Doctors, and I think, I think Pertwee's really great in this. Like, that's definitely my favorite outfit that he wears during his time on the show. I think he wears it one more time briefly at the start of Planet of Spiders, and I like Joe's outfit there as well, that blue outfit, and I actually think it's one of Joe's best performances in this one. He's really good in the 3 Doctors.
Yeah, I agree, actually. And I think for me, season 10 is easily Pertwee's best of all 5 seasons that he did. I mean, his era is pretty damn fantastic. I mean, some of his stories are really long. That's one thing, but yeah, I think this is probably my favorite Pertwee story. It's just so good. Everything's executed really well, and probably Inferno is not far behind this. He's got some really good classic stories in his era. I mean, even in his last season, he's got his last story, which some people think it's just good, but not great. I actually think it's great.
Yeah. I think the season was a real bounce back after season 9, which I think you and me would agree that season 9 was a bit disappointing because you had the Time Monster, which was awful, and then Curse of Peladon you didn't really care for either. So
yeah, I just thought it was all right.
Yeah, so this season was I mean, you want this season to be really good anyway because it's the 10th anniversary season of the show, and after season 9, I mean, this story is way better. Like, especially after the Time Monster, this is way better than the Time Monster. I mean, it came right after that story, and thank God that the story is way better.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and they couldn't have done it any better. And I actually quite like this moment here, although the costumes are a bit colourful, but there you go. It was the 70s.
I don't mind the costumes. It's kind of similar to the costumes that they wore in the War Games. But I think the best Time Lord outfits are the ones you see in Deadly Assassin. And they would even use them in the 10 era as well.
Yeah, they kept them in the David Tennant era, which was fantastic. And I like this story as well. Like, it's not too complicated. It's complex enough for there to be enough detail, but the narrative is fairly straightforward, and I think that's just what you need for an anniversary special, which is where possibly Day of the Doctor got kind of not got wrong, but sort of like would have benefited maybe from a simpler plot, because you just kind of want to enjoy it more than think about it too much, if that makes sense.
You know what's interesting? They brought these Time Lord outfits back for Last of the Time Lords, in that flashback scene where you see the young Doctor or the young Master looking into the untempered schism, they brought those costumes they wore back for that one scene, which was nice.
Oh yeah, that was cool. I think that was meant to be the young Master. When the Doctor's describing it, because he looks into the untempered schism, which is kind of a stupid name, but there you go. It's Doctor Who. It's allowed to have a stupid name.
There he is, Patrick Troughton.
Hey, Doctor number 2.
I think that footage is from the War Games.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, that is probably his most epic story. I mean, his last story. It's like that story is like Lord of the Rings length. It's so epic. Man, that was the end of an era. That really was. But Pertwee's era at least kept the show alive.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't aged a day, and I love this line of, "You redecorated. I don't like it." You know, they reused that in the Five Doctors, and they also
even Day of the
reused
Doctor.
that. Yeah, Day of the Doctor, and they also reused it in Closing Time, where Matt Smith says, "Oh, Craig, you've redecorated. I don't like it." And he's like, "No, we've moved."
Yeah. Troughton's delightful. He's definitely one of my favorite Doctors. He's just his humor and his kind of cartoonishness and buffoonery really works for the character. He does play him like a sort of cartoon character, but it's charming. It's delightful, and again, the banter these two have is just great. Like Pertwee's just the complete opposite of this guy.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, in real life, Pertwee and Troughton were really good friends, but they kind of play rivals in this story because Troughton's more comedic and Pertwee's a lot more serious as a Doctor. So they're like so he's basically telling, Troughton's Doctor to stop clowning around, and Pertwee's Doctor is saying I'm more serious.
Yeah, I am he and he is me.
I'm really glad they brought Troughton back though, because it's the 10th anniversary and he's one of the best Doctors. And funnily enough, I mean, he returns the most to the series out of all the Doctors. I mean, he returned for this, he returned for the 5 Doctors, and then finally he returned for the 2 Doctors. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he needn't have bothered for that story, but yeah, maybe we'll save that for another day.
Yeah. When, unfortunately, they will eventually release the season 22 Blu-ray.
Yeah. I mean, the only downside is it is a shame that Hartnell isn't physically able to be there and do more with them, but at least he's in it. At least he has a decent role in it. I mean, it used to sort of bother me a bit, but after a while, I did that he was unwell. They did the best they could. So, yeah, it's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Troughton was able to come back, but they wanted Hartnell to come back, and Barry Letts said that he even contacted Hartnell, and Hartnell said he'd love to come back, but his wife called up Barry Letts and said, "You must have caught him on one of his good days. He's way too ill to come back." So they filmed the scenes in the studio and got him to read the lines off these cards. But yeah,
no, well, it's better than nothing.
So it's after you. Should I see us?
I mean, that's a great moment. That's the first time you see in the series contact where other Time Lords can communicate with each other, like a Doctor can communicate with, the second Doctor.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Long.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, when you look at Troughton and Pertwee there, that's the very definition of talking to yourself.
Yeah. When Troughton says, "Oh, they brought me back. Your effectiveness is now doubled," and then Pertwee says, "Halved, more like." Bickering.
Oh, my boy.
There you are.
His last time in Doctor Who.
Yeah. It's great to see him, even though, you can't see him in the story with Troughton. And
So
I love
those
that
are
line.
Nothing. It's not easy. Not as if we knew what that stuff is. Then I'll tell you. It's a time to
Oh.
Oh,
He's still great. He's still, you know what? This is 10 years after he first played that role, and he's still got it. Hartnell still got it 10 years later.
he has, and he's still got just the same amount of charm as he did before. Yeah, I mean, it's just nice that he's there, in some way.
Yeah. I love that bit there when you say, Doctor, where Joe says, Doctor, I hate to ask, but who was that? Me! Me!
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
That's a good ending to the
Well,
first
that
part.
was great.
Because it's so sudden, it's just a moment of tension, and that's what Doctor Who has always been good at, tension building, and then when the scary moments and the action stuff happens, it makes it worthwhile. And with this story, I mean, there's not really much to fault as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I mean, sadly, Hartnell, when he made this story, it was his last Doctor Who appearance, and he died a couple of years later in 1975. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, he'll always be remembered as the Doctor that planted the flag. He started it all, and I love Hartnell's Doctor. He's so underrated.
I agree. I mean, I don't understand when people put his Doctor near the bottom of the ranking or at the bottom of the ranking. When I see a lot of rankings by new fans, they always put him near the bottom or at the
Sorry.
bottom, which I don't understand.
For a second there, I thought you said rankings.
Rankings, no.
That would be rather interesting.
What, Doctor Who wankings, like Hartnell and Troughton and Pertwee having a wank?
I mean, it's like Jackie Tyler said. Is there anything else he's got two of?
Yeah. Or like you said, instead of Belloc, Bellend.
Bellend, yeah. I noticed actually you re-uploaded your Indiana Jones reviews or did new ones. I'll have to watch those when I can and comment on them.
Yeah, they're new reviews.
Is that because of the new film?
It's because it's the 40th anniversary of Raiders last month, so I wanted to re-review them.
No, have you kept the old ones or have you deleted them?
No, they're still up.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because the old sketches for the first two are great.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I might relook at those movies again when the new one comes out, but yeah, my opinions on the Indiana Jones movies have kind of stayed the same, to be honest.
Yeah.
I still think that 1 and 3 are very good, and 2's good, 4's okay. Yeah, it's a mixed bag for me.
Yeah. Do you think 2 might go down to just being passable, or
Maybe, I don't know. I haven't watched it for a while. I'll have to watch it again and see how I feel. But I know that the fifth one looks shit, to be honest. I don't know what they're going to call it, but they.
like I said, Indiana, old bag of bones.
Yeah, Indiana and the old bag of bones. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they called it that.
I love the Brigadier's reaction there, the way he just turns his head.
I knew that, Your Excellency, but this is an emergency. No emergency can justify this transgression. This operation must stop immediately. On the contrary, it must continue. Doctor is our only help. There is no one else.
What bit are you on?
I'm on 29 minutes, 24 seconds.
Have no control.
29 minutes, did you say?
The
Yeah.
universe of antimatter, unknown forces.
Oh, you're much further ahead than me. Hold on, I'm gonna have to.
I must be obeyed.
Okay. I've paused it at 29:37.
All right. I was wondering what was going on. Did you fast forward it or something?
No, well, I didn't. If I did, I didn't do it intentionally.
Yeah, because I was on the bit where Troughton was talking to the brigadier.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Tell me when you're ready, and then Then we can press play again.
Right, I'm on it.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, play.
Later. The moment the doctor-
Sorry about that interruption. For the viewers, there was a little technical glitch there.
Yeah. Ollie got stuck in the black hole.
Better than getting black coal for Christmas.
You would do better to husband your resources, not throw them away.
Husband your resources.
I understand your attempt to transport yet one more.
I never heard that before. Husband your resources.
Yeah. Husbands of a song.
You know, it's kind of funny that the first Doctor gets stuck in a time eddy in the three Doctors. Then the 5 Doctors, the 4th Doctor gets stuck, so they can't. You know, he gets stuck in a time thing as well. So it's kind of a good excuse to explain why they can't get some of the Doctors, say that he's stuck in a time thing.
Yeah.
They did do a photo shoot though for the 3 Doctors, where Hartnell, Troughton, and Pertwee they're all standing beside each other, and I've got that. I've got a frame picture of that. But yeah,
That's nice. I mean, they obviously had to do some kind of photo as well, like for promotion. Yeah, and they obviously probably used. Is that the one they used for the DVD?
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
How are we? Seems strange.
Katy Manning was quite cute actually when she was younger.
Yeah, John Pertwee told a very funny story about her. Like Katy Manning would say, I don't have. She would say, I don't have big breasts. I can't really see that well. I got flat feet, and Pertwee's like, but here was half the country lusting after her.
Yeah, they make a good pair actually. The Doctor and Joe.
Yeah, I think you can really tell by this time that they're great friends, because in the first story, Terror of the Autons, you can tell that the Doctor's kind of irritated by her at first, like he misses Liz, and then as the stories go on and the season goes on, you can tell that he starts to really like Jo and they become good friends.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
I thought you said the matter and antimatter couldn't meet without an explosion.
It's great to see Troughton back, because he's just such a great Doctor, and a lot of his stories are missing, so it's nice to have him in this story, and to see him in colour as well instead of black and white.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the first time you see him in colour in the whole show, which is also very nice.
Yeah. And yeah, his Doctor works against Pertwee so well because he's a lot more comedic, and Pertwee's probably the most serious Doctor. So
yeah, which is why they sort of have a nice conflict, because they're so different to each other. Like it's almost like the same with Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi. They're so different in terms of personality with their Doctors, but it still works. I mean, if they met each other, they'd probably annoy each other a bit like these two do.
I like to see that in a 60th anniversary multi-Doctor story, like Capaldi and Smith, like having a go at each other, like a third Doctor and a second Doctor.
You just know that the 12th Doctor would not like fish fingers and custard.
Oh, good. Could you imagine jelly babies and custard?
Yeah. Carrots? You insane? No, I need fish fingers and custard. You're a fucking weird, depressing man. You don't eat fish fingers and custard. So I don't know what you'd say, because I'm fucking Malcolm.
I tell you what would happen. Baker would put the jelly babies into the custard. Davison would put the celery into the custard. Eccleston would put the baked beans into the custard. Matt Smith would put the fish fingers and the jammy dodgers into a custard as well.
Yeah, jammy dodger.
Come on then.
Oh, Bessie. I miss Bessie. I mean, imagine if they had like a modern version of Bessie for the new series, but I guess they thought, well, kind of doesn't really. I guess they don't need Bessie anymore. Well,
yeah. No, I think it would be a bit ridiculous seeing David Tennant driving around Bessie. He just wouldn't look right in Bessie. I could see maybe Capaldi driving around in Bessie because he's like an older Doctor. He's more like Pertwee, the way he dresses, and especially in his like first season and like season 10. But yeah, I couldn't really see Eccleston or Tennant driving around in Bessie.
yeah, no, it would be too dated, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just like the bigger version of Brum, the car Brum. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, Brum. I think this is probably Bob Baker and Dave Martin's best script. I mean, they wrote Claws of Axos, which is really good as well, and they wrote The Invisible Enemy, the first one of K9. But I think this is probably their best script that they wrote.
Yeah, it's this one is definitely their best. It's more dramatic, more exciting, and it's more nostalgic as well.
I just love the fact that the Brigadier he's kind of really shocked to see the second Doctor back, and he doesn't really know at this point that the Doctor has like multiple regenerations. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think he works it out by the end. Lol.
Yeah, I think by the end of this story, he realizes that there's like a first Doctor, and Troughton was like the second, and Pertwee was the third. I love that line he says in the five. I love that line the Brigadier says in the 5 Doctors, where he's talking about the Doctor, and he says, "Wonderful chap, all of them."
Yeah.
Then give it the lot.
Give it a lot. It's kind of a shame they never brought back Benton to the show because John Levine's still alive, and it would be nice to see what happened to him. I think the last story he was in was the Android Invasion, so it's kind of a shame he never returned to the show.
They didn't really need Unit after a while, did they? They sort of phased out Unit. So when Tom Baker took over the role, nice, bless him. But at least he had a couple of good appearances. Towards the end.
Well, I mean, John Levine, he plays Sergeant Benton there. He started in the Troughton era. The first story he appeared in was the Invasion, and the last story he appeared in was the Android Invasion. Funny enough, for Tom Baker. So, yeah,
That is ironic.
yeah. I mean, as much as I love Unit, I think it was kind of the right thing to get rid of them when Tom Baker came on, because the Doctor wanted to travel in time and space again, and with Pertwee it was mostly set on Earth, so it's kind of nice to go back to adventures in time and space with Baker. But yeah,
no, I agree. It was good to change up the show. Obviously, they wanted to keep the viewing figures up and try and do something a bit different, and it worked. But yeah, I think it was good to go back to this sort of traveling, because otherwise, if they stayed on Earth forever, it would restrict what they could do, and it would become very repetitive quite quickly. But yeah,
I mean, I don't know if you heard it there, but Troughton just offered Brigadier a jelly baby, so he offered the jelly babies before Tom Baker, Patrick Troughton.
Yeah, well, we know where the doctor gets it from.
Yeah. I really love that bit there as well when the Brigadier comes into the TARDIS and he says, "So that's what you've been spending unit funds and equipment on, Doctor."
Yeah, good unit. Nicholas Courtney, you know, one of the longest serving actors in the show, and yeah, he was always great as the Brig.
Yeah, I mean, he played opposite Hartnell in Dalek's Master Plan. He's been like all 7 original Doctors. He's met them and you know, acted on them, acted on screen with them. Even Colin Baker, technically, in Dimensions in Time. But the less said about Dimensions in Time, the better.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Could you imagine if Pertwee met Phil Mitchell?
God, that would be terrible. He would like fucking like use his karate and floor him. Like,
And Phil Mitchell would be like, "You want some? You want some?"
you're fine. 40 minutes. Wow, it's been going pretty quickly.
Yeah. It's a pretty fast-paced story.
Oh yeah.
Will you open this door?
Yeah, there's that guy as well from earlier. That guy who was he was like a hunter, and he had that double-barreled shotgun, and he's stuck there as well. He's been transported into that black hole.
Yeah, definitely.
I love how pissed off the Brigadier here is with the Doctor. He's like, "How do we get out?"
He's so impatient. It's a matter of color.
You stop nattering.
Not standing around here messing around looking for some damn pool flute. Brigadier, I cannot open that door without first turning off the force field. Even if I did, you'd never make it. There's become a killer. It's my fault, and I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry.
I love how impatient the Brigadier here is with the Doctor. Like he's sick of him like clowning about. Like,
Yeah. Oh dear. So I'm amazed he got on with the 7th Doctor, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he got on pretty well with the 2nd Doctor in the Invasion, but here, you know, he's trying to get to his men, and he doesn't want to be stuck in the TARDIS, and the Doctor's going on about his recorder.
You're wasting your time. Get through to the force field. What's going on like this?
Oh, Troughton. Troughton. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
When did he pass away?
1987.
Wow, it's a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, they were actually going to do the 7 Doctors with McCoy for the 25th anniversary, but unfortunately Troughton passed away just before they were about to do it, so they decided to do Remembrance of the Daleks instead. No, sorry, Silver Nemesis. Oh God.
Yeah. It's a shame they had to scrap that idea then.
Yeah, instead we got Silver Nemesis for the 25th anniversary. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I quite like Dr. Tyler. He's like, you know, Doctor, we got to get out of here. You know, we got to get back home. And the Doctor's like, you know, don't risk it. You know, you're just gonna waste your time.
Yeah, he's a pretty decent character, Tyler.
No, I suppose you're right. Tyler, come back, Tyler!
Oh shit! Actually, the design of the ship is actually quite cool.
Pretty cool. It kind of reminds me a bit of the inside of the Zygon ship.
Ooh, Tyler.
Jackie Tyler.
Jackie Tyler, Rose's mum. Now, where the hell is my daughter?
Yeah.
You disrespect Tyler.
Yeah. Imagine Marlon Brando met Pertwee.
I'm the one that asked.
Doctor, my child, embrace your godfather.
Embrace the three doctors.
the tree doctors.
Yeah. What do they use for the eyes?
I don't know. It looks like some kind of bulb or something. I don't know, like some kind of thing. Rotating eye. I don't know.
What's the name of those aliens?
Sorry?
What's the name of those aliens? The ones with all the boils on them.
They're called the Gel Guards.
Okay, fair enough. That's a interesting name.
Here we are, Brigadier. Haven't tried that.
Yeah. I mean, Omega made them up from his imagination, so I don't think they're like real. He just made them up with his imagination. Yeah. Oh, I love this bit here where he just.
Whoa. Or he's like, for God's sake.
Listen, we're pinned down on
Yeah.
What's the situation there? Over.
This looks great in Blu-ray. They've done a really good job with the restoration.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. It can't be easy to restore something as old as this to life. But they did it.
Yeah. Oh, there's Hartnell again.
No, not at all. And you? What about our fellow Time Lords?
Oh, Hartnell's back.
Oh, yes, you do. How? Oh, first turn up the Pertwee. What? But I don't know if I said.
Yeah.
What did I still see? Oh, you show intelligence.
Oh, I love Hartnell.
Oh, he's amazing.
I'm afraid you never believe.
The Brigadier's like, who on earth is that? And he's like, I'm afraid you've never believed me.
The humor's just on point in this story. It just it comes so sharply as it's supposed to.
Yeah, no, they've done a really good job of writing all three of the Doctors and writing the Brigadier and everything. And yeah, I mean, I like that line earlier on where Hartnell said, "What's a bridge for, eh?" And they say a crossing. Well, stop dilly-dallying and cross it.
All right, really. Things aren't always as they seem. Now you take this pencil.
This is funny.
Oh dear. Flowers. Maybe the third Doctor is a botanist.
Yeah. I mean, he could have given a Blu-ray of Kung Fu something, but yeah, he didn't.
The wait is over.
I've always had a great respect for his advice.
You know what? I would have loved if Baker interacted with Troughton, but unfortunately he turned down the 5 Doctors. So, yeah.
Hold tight, everyone.
Such a shame.
Uh-oh, they're gone.
Oh, it just disappeared.
The house is gone. Uh-oh.
The cliffhangers are fucking solid in this story.
Yeah. We're already halfway through as well. It's gone by pretty
That's
quickly.
one way to take yourself off the housing market.
Yeah.
Fucking no Brexit.
I wish a certain someone could go through that black hole and never come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Pertwee, Peter Davison.
You know, it's funny. It says Doctor Who, John Pertwee, Doctor Who, Patrick Troughton, Doctor Who, William Hartnell.
Yeah, well, they are playing the same character, aren't they? So why not credit it the same?
1973. I mean, funnily enough, when this story's first broadcast, it was closer to the 9th anniversary because I think it came out like December 72 or something like that.
Do you have fond memories of it, do you?
No, but I mean, this season, you know, the next one's good as well. Carnival of Monsters. It's probably the weakest of the season. The next one, but that's still a good one too.
Oh, hi, Bob and Dave.
Bob and Dave Martin.
Yes, I think so.
Episode 3.
Was he told me to? I've always had a great respect for his advice.
Because he's you.
Precisely. Hold tight, everyone.
Pretty dramatic.
Yeah. I mean, John Levine was originally going to be Bond instead of Lazenby, and he would have done much better.
Yeah. Yeah, who wants an Australian man playing a British secret agent?
Yeah. Yeah, John Levine said that he was up for the role, but he didn't get it. I mean, I think he would have been much better than Lazenby, but yeah. Joe's wearing boots.
That set is
Joe's
actually
boots.
quite good.
It is, yeah. Well, there he is, Omega.
I did. I am the one.
Stephen Thorne as Omega, the one and only Omega. Forget the one on Arse of Infinity.
Yeah. Oh, look at him. Fucking self-absorbed cunt.
It was destroyed.
Oh, you're joking now. Omega's a fantastic villain. I mean, look at that. He almost kind of reminds me of, you know, the fucking soldiers in 300, like with their armor. And then he also looks a bit like that mixed with the Witch King from the Lord of the Rings. I know this was all before then, but still, the armor's quite well designed.
I think Stephen Thorne's easily the best Omega. I mean, I personally think it was a mistake bringing back Omega in season 20 because Omega, I hate the redesign that they gave Omega in Arc of Infinity, and the guy who played him, he wasn't as good as Stephen Thorne. Like, and as you said, in that story, he just doesn't do anything. He just sits in his arse most of the story, you know.
Yeah, at least when they build up to him here, like he has a fucking mind battle or something with the Doctor, you know.
Yeah.
Well, specifically the third Doctor, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing I don't understand. Like Omega dies at the end of this, but yet they never explain how he came back in Arc of Infinity. They should have just had him be like a one-off villain, you know, because sometimes you don't need to bring back Doctor Who villains.
Town.
I mean, sometimes you don't need a villain in more than one story. Like you didn't need Sutek in more than one story. Like he's only in Pyramids of Mars, and they should have just kept Omega for one story. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's fantastic. I mean, I'm sure might be a point that they might bring him back. Maybe the new series will bring him back, but yeah, this is definitely the better of the two stories.
Yeah. You know, I think the Blu-ray makes it clearer, but if you look under the mask, you can see the actor's mouth move and everything. But in the story, he has no head, he has no face left when they take off the mask.
Oh, yeah. But it looks really cool, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Omega was like one of the guys who created time. You know, he's one of the heroes of Time Lord Society that he went into this black hole and I think he saved Gallifrey or something like that.
I should have been a god.
Oh. Delusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
Unless he means him some terrible harm.
Oh, Tyler.
Yeah. Omega, not the watch. I mean, I was going to ask you, like, what did you think of Omega and Arc of Infinity compared to Three Doctors?
No, not very good. Very disappointing. They might as well not bother having him in there because he, like I said, he just sort of sits on his arse and doesn't really do anything for the story. So, yeah, pointless.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I hated his redesign as well. Like the costume they gave him in Arc of Infinity looks crap, but yeah.
And this organism stuff that you sent to bring us here, created from the raw stuff of matter. An organism that can exist in your world and mine. It brought you here and imbued you with its properties so that you too can exist.
Yeah.
How do I fit into this picture?
Oh, yes. Big there.
I mean, you can kind of tell that the Doctor respects Omega because, like, on on Gallifrey they respect him as like their greatest hero. So he respects Omega.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, there is that sort of mutual respect because they are from the same species, but at the same time, the Doctor can't agree with his extremist views, shall we say, his means of committing his plans.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, ding ding.
I mean, the thing is about yeah, he's got a microwave. But the thing is about Omega is that he wants to get back to Gallifrey and he wants to take over. He wants to be like the ruler of Gallifrey, and the Doctor's like, no. Like he thinks he could, Omega thinks he could defeat all the Time Lords, and the Doctor's just saying, you're kind of out of your depth. A lot of things have changed since you've been gone.
Yeah, exactly. I like that they question that, how the fact that the Doctor sometimes does need to be put out of depth, but obviously this time there's three of them, so surely one of them can they can solve this.
Yeah. I love the way the Brigadier's just like, come along, Doctor,
Yeah.
Listen
Fuck
to me.
this.
You listen to me.
Oh, we're on part 3 and it's flying by.
Yeah. I mean, Troughton seems to spend a lot of the story with Benton and the Brigadier, which is pretty good. I love this. I love his reaction. Yeah.
We've actually got nobody in the live chat tonight, which is quite surprising. This would be somebody's worst nightmare. I don't like sand. It's coarse, rough, irritating, and it gets everywhere.
They're not even on the same planet. They're in the black hole.
Yeah, matter is completely being destroyed. And that's the thing. This story has a lot of stakes. Literally all of reality is going to be ripped apart because of this stupid black hole. And they really up the sort of tension very quickly with it. Even though you can enjoy the story as fun, it is also quite. The odds are pretty serious.
Yeah. I do like that line there where Benton says, the Doctor says we're not even in the same universe, and the Brigadier says, oh, rubbish, Benton, that's a beach. It must be somewhere in Norfolk.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, excuse me.
I love that bit where the Brigadier's like, the Brigadier says, we're on a beach, Doctor, and he's like, and the Doctor says, oh, great, who's for a swim?
Yeah. I mean, when Troughton just says, oh my giddy-ard.
Yeah. Well, that bit there where the Brigadier wasn't listening to him and he started saying, "Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear."
Yeah. I can only imagine the excitement when these episodes were aired, when they were first finished. Man, this would have been special.
What's going on here? Thought you told me that. No, Mr. Officer, I'm watching the dog.
Because presumably they aired this over 4 weeks.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, because it's a 4-part story.
Been on for an hour. Already got 38 minutes, 39 minutes left.
Yeah. Barry Letts always wanted to start off the season with a story that would get the viewers hooked. So with Pertwee's first season, you had Spear Out from Space, which would have got the viewers hooked to the first season. Then with the second season, you had the Auton's Return and the Master in the first story. So that get them hooked to the second season. Then with season 9, you had the Return of the Daleks at the start, which would get them hooked. So with the start of this season, you have 3 Doctors returning, which would get the viewers hooked onto the season. So, yeah.
Exactly. It's very clever how they have to do that. And also it's a marketing thing. You know, they want people to watch this show. And, you know, the only way to really get them interested is for the first story, the first few episodes to really just, you know, hook them and bring them in straight away. Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't always work, but a lot of the time they do bring in a new audience, which is good.
Yeah. No, they've done a good job with the location work as well. I mean, obviously they shot it in a quarry where they shot a lot of Doctor Who stories in like quarries, but you know, I really like the story of this, like how Omega's trapped in this black hole and he's in the antimatter universe and he's trying to get back into the matter universe. But the Doctor explains that if antimatter and matter, if they meet together, they blow up. So, you know, Omega's trying to find a way back into our universe. But yeah,
that's why I love this story so much. The story itself is just so clear. It's so easy to follow. You know.
Yeah.
And I love part 4 when Pertwee and Omega have their mind battle.
Yeah.
A Time Lord.
This also be a Time Lord? Appearances aren't everything, you know. You do not fear me.
Do you fear death?
Can it be? Two Time Lords? The same Time Lord.
Yep.
Pretty smart how he figured that out.
Yeah, considering he can only see through those weird eye holes. What about we did it?
You know what's interesting? Like the Time Lords say in this story that they're transgressing the first law of time. Like the Doctor can't meet other versions of himself. But I mean that happens all the time after the story. Like the 5 Doctors, the 2 Doctors. You know the Day of the Doctor, Twice Upon a Time. There's so many times that he's met his other incarnations, even though that's breaking the first law of time. But yeah,
it's like a big paradox. But yeah, I mean, in order for the show to be interesting, they kind of do need to do it every so often. I'm glad they do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great idea bringing back the Doctors. I mean, the fans came up with the idea, and initially they didn't want to, you know, use that idea because they didn't think it'd be good. But I think it's a great idea bringing back all the other Doctors beforehand because it kind of shows that you're celebrating the whole of the show, not just one particular era. You're celebrating the first Doctor's era. You're celebrating the second and the third Doctor's era as well.
Yeah. And this is interesting because like both the Doctors are at kind of a wit's end. They don't really know what to do about Omega. Like I don't think they want to kill him, but you know they don't want reality to die either. So you know where once again the doctor's got to make a difficult decision.
Yeah.
Doctors, what are you talking about? In simple answers, please. What is it?
It's so funny that the doctors only know what they're talking about and no one else does. Oh my giddy I do crumbs.
Jenny, Victoria.
Oh yeah, apparently they wanted to bring back Fraser Hines for this story, but he was unavailable.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
Well, we got him instead in the Two Doctors.
You just have to stop it, won't you?
Yeah. Oh dear.
Dun,
They're
dun,
not sure they
dun.
can stop. They're not sure they can stop Omega.
What a fucking shit day this has turned out to be.
In order to make it a reality, we had to have a colossal source of energy.
I am he and he is me.
Solar engineer. We thought he was destroyed. Instead of which he finished up here. His imprisonment was the price of our freedom to travel in time.
And so, you can't let him smash everything up.
So basically, what they're saying is Omega opened up this black hole and opened up this, other universe so that they could travel in time, and he was stuck in this black hole. Yeah.
Can will up an entire world. Surely you two could will up a small door.
Ooh,
Oh.
good thinking.
In fact,
What a great performance from Katy Manning. She's really got loads of enthusiasm now.
Yeah. I really like her in this story, and I really like that outfit as well. That blue outfit's quite cool.
Ready?
Contact.
Uh-oh. I love that part, actually, when they do the sort of mind meld connection.
Yeah. The mind connection, yeah. Ooh.
Possibly have done it without you. What next?
Now they're getting on.
They've got a door. Yeah. You can always see the CSO in the background, like the yellow background, and you sort of see that there as they're leaving the door.
Such a good shot of the corridor.
Yeah. I like the music here. The Three Doctors. I mean, I definitely think this, for me, is probably the best anniversary special. We've had a lot. We had like the 5 Doctors, Day of the Doctor, 2 Doctors. Well, 2 Doctors isn't an anniversary special, but we had Silver Nemesis, and I think this is probably my favorite anniversary special, the first one. You there? You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Sorry, I'm just a bit tired.
Yeah. I thought you'd gone away or something.
No, I haven't gone away. I've just been up since 6 in the morning. So. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, we're near the end now, anyway. So.
Yeah, don't worry. The story's fucking shit.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I can't do that. I was about to do something, but I better not.
I know you were about to do, lol.
Yeah, I just realised we're on air, so I thought, no, I can't do that. I promise not to do that. So, sorry, forgive me for that.
It doesn't matter.
Ooh. Fancy being sucked by the vacuum cleaner? That's what that looks like. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Looks like a load of smoke. Someone's having a cigarette.
Yeah. I mean, fucking Omega likes to puff the magic dragon.
Yeah. I love... They did a parody of that scene with John Kilshaw and some other guy playing David Tennant. And instead of that for that steam, they just used some steam from a kettle. They went for the kettle, which was quite funny.
Lol.
I love this, the mind battle.
Omega says, "Come to the dark side. Do you have cookies?"
Oh shit! Oh.
Ooh. I mean, I like him in that form, but I actually like him with the armor a lot more for some reason.
Yeah. I don't think that is Omega. I think it's some kind of creature that's attacking the Doctor. I don't know what it is, but
how can they find their way?
Time,
Maze.
yeah. I mean, Time Lords don't look like that. Some kind of creature he wants to fight the Doctor in his mind, but yeah.
Is it weird that those alien creatures, they look a bit like, Emperor Palpatine when he wears a hood?
Yeah. My dad said they look like turds.
Well, I guess he's not far off. Well, I mean, they do
Yeah,
look
they look like a bloody turd or something. Oh, get out! I like that giant door that they have there. That base, pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nicely done. And actually, it sits quite well with the location.
Yeah.
Only half an hour left.
This is nearly 50 years ago. 48 years ago.
Oh god, wow. Who's the guy with the ginger hair?
Oh, he's the guy from earlier. Do you remember the hunter at the start of the story? He got transported.
Oh, yes, him.
Yeah. Ooh, creature's weird.
The fucking lighting in this scene is fantastic.
Yeah. It's like they're fighting in a black void or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the greens and the purples. Yeah.
Like illusion of how dark Omega really is as a character.
Yeah. You were saying about the lighting, like they've got green and purple lighting. It looks really great. Oh, shit. Oh, it's William Hartnell.
Leave me alone to my beauty sleep, my boy.
I repeat, you are our last chance. All three are needed to defeat
All three, yeah.
We will use the last of our energy to send you through.
Oh, good to see.
We miss you, Hartnell.
Yeah. It's like they're fighting in a black void of nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they like filmed this in like a black stage with like black curtains and they just added some lighting.
Yeah, perhaps. Or they filmed it on a green screen and they just keyed out the green.
Yeah.
I noticed they just reused a couple of shots.
Yeah.
The fact that it's in slow motion as well actually works quite well.
Those who oppose the will of Omega shall not live. Destroy him.
Oh shit.
See you next time.
Next time on Doctor Who.
Yeah. I thought they don't do like next time trailers for these ones.
I don't think they're necessary. Like the new series is different because the new series you only have like one 2-part story, or there's only like a few 2-part stories in the new series, so the next time trailers aren't that bad, but yeah. You don't need them for the series. I mean, I personally think the next time trailers are kind of pointless, especially in the new series when you have 2-parters. It kind of ruins the cliffhanger if it shows you what happens next week, you know.
Yeah, I can see what you mean by that. I suppose they can be a bit distracting.
I remember Parting of the Ways. It kind of ruined Bad Wolf Parting of the Ways when they showed a Dalek in the Next Time trailer for that story. I think this looks great HD.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, the Tree Doctors.
Episode 4.
Episode 4.
Hike.
Ooh. There's sumo wrestling.
It's the closest the Doctor will ever get to actually wrestling. Can you imagine, like, the Doctor taking one of his companions to a fucking wrestling match, a WWE match or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would have to be probably Christopher Eccleston. This is what I travel for, Rose. To see men beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah. Well, second Doctor helped him out.
Hello there, old chap.
Be warned. You've seen my power. You and your friends will learn that it is useless to defy me. But our friends do not defy you. Oh, yes. They
The
do
story's so
try to
good. It's just excellent. You know.
Would you agree with me? It's probably the best anniversary story.
Yeah, I probably would actually. Yeah, I think it is the best anniversary.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they did a really good job bringing back all the Doctors and, having this storyline with Omega and you find out more about Time Lord lore in this story.
Yeah.
Are you sure that you would hear the same intentions? You couldn't run me up. I must have you see us. When I so much lost, the small recorder. Silence!
Small recorder.
Just ignore.
He keeps going on about his recorder the whole time.
Because it looked useful.
You are you race to childish games. You face annihilation. You know that. You, your entire race, your precious terrestrial everything. But what do? Huh? You wrangle and babble of pipes. Get a pipe.
And that's the irony. The recorder is actually kind of key to all this, isn't it?
It's interesting the second Doctor's trying to test his patience.
Yeah. And also, yeah, probably stalling as well. I mean,
You mentioned some task. I created this world through the power of my will.
we created you.
I'm glad they didn't have the Daleks for the 10th anniversary. That would have been so repetitive.
Yeah, the Daleks do get overused quite a lot.
Although saying that, they didn't use them that much in the classic series. Like, they had a 5-year break after Evil, the Daleks, and then Pertwee met them 3 times. Baker only met them twice in 7 years, and they only appeared 3 times in the 80s. I think it's more the new series that they have. It kind of annoys me they have to use the Daleks every single season, apart from like Series 6. But
Yeah, well, they sort of cut down on them in Matt Smith's era, I think, and probably a bit of Capaldi's era as well.
There was no way out. No escape.
yeah, I don't think they were in Series 10, if I can remember.
Control singularity.
Mm.
I can make it do my will. All these things exist because I will them to exist. Without
Ooh.
the unceasing pressure.
Kind of getting a bit sanctimonious there.
Thousands of years the
He bit up his own arse.
I mean, would you have, thinking about it now, it probably wouldn't have mattered which one it was, but would you have actually quite liked to see Omega in the Deadly Assassin? Were you happy that it's the Master?
I'm fine with it being the Master. It makes more sense because the Master's dying in that story, and he's like desperate to get new regenerations and live on. So, it kind of makes more sense for me that it's the Master. Like he's all decayed and dying.
Yeah. I mean, the Deadly Assassin is a masterpiece.
Well,
when season 14 gets released in standard Blu-ray, we definitely need to do a commentary on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree.
I mean, Omega kind of reminds me of an angry, spoiled brat, if you know what I mean.
Really, because he reminds me more of a watch that I'd like to wear.
He reminds me
But
of
no,
a
yeah.
little. He reminds me of a little child that won't leave us alone.
Yeah, but no, I think you're right. I mean, he does come across as quite over the top, the character of Omega. But you would probably go pretty mad if you were stuck in this antimatter universe for years and years. So yeah, he's a disembodiment.
Yeah, this scene's great. Nothing left of you. Oh shit! Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of feel sorry for Omega in one sense. He never asked for this.
Oh shit!
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of clear that he's really upset that there's nothing left of him.
Yeah. Oh. You always did have an inflated opinion of yourself.
Yeah.
Funny enough, released in the same year as this.
I exist only by my will. Then my will is to destroy and all.
Sorry, I cannot hear a word he is saying. He really needs to speak up.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where he kind of goes nuts. He goes mad.
Yeah. It's actually a bit tragic, really, when you think about it. How would you feel in his situation? He's been stuck like that for ages, knowing that he's probably not ever going to become fully physically formed again is kind of sad in a way, but it doesn't make what he's doing right. But yeah, I kind of felt for the guy. I was like, oh shit, that sucks.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree with you because essentially there's nothing left of him. Like the Third Doctor says that you only exist because your will makes you exist. Basically your physical form has been erased now. There's nothing there underneath your mask, and he's kind of going nuts because he can't go back to the real universe because there's nothing there anymore.
Yeah, he sort of has no purpose. He's outlived his purpose.
Yeah.
And I like the fact there's actually kind of like a gang of characters involved here, not just the Doctors. Like there's Joe, Benton, the Brig, even Tyler, and that other guy as well. Everyone has quite a role to play here.
Yeah. Joe knows.
Come here. I think you need some doctors.
Yeah. When I say run, you run. Right, run.
Run.
I think the second Doctor was the first one to say that. When I say run, run.
Yeah.
And then the ninth Doctor said it in Rose, run.
Run. Yeah. And even David Tennant says he's like, love the running.
Oh, so Omega's going to try and destroy the Doctor's universe.
Yeah, well, we need to find a way of closing the the black hole now.
Yeah. I like those flowery braces that he has. They're quite funny.
Yeah. And he just casually is tipping in that he wants to play his recorder. But there's a reason for that.
I mean, the second Doctor always loves his recorder.
The most powerful boots in the cosmos.
Nobbling? Yeah. This is a really great script. Like, I can't fault the script.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so clear. It's dramatic. It's one of the most coherent Doctor Who scripts. Actually, it flows really, really well.
Well, that's nice.
Now the three of them have to mind meld.
I love this, yeah. I think that's Hartnell's last scene, or one of his last scenes.
Oh, it's kind of a bitter sweetness to that.
Yeah. Well, it's cool that he contacted them as well. He uses that telepathic link.
Yeah, that's nice that he chose to do that. And I guess it didn't take three of them to stop this.
We just had the iconic line there where Joe was saying telepathic conference, and he said, "That old man, three of them. I didn't know when I was well off."
Oh. Come on.
Can you imagine Troughton with like 1,000 recorders?
That would be interesting.
Yeah. Oh. Hartnell, good old Hartnell.
Oh, I have so much respect for that man, and I feel so bad the way he had to leave the show, but it was obviously for the good of his health.
I think An Adventure in Space and Time is a great film, and it really showed us that Hartnell, he wanted to keep going on as long as he could in that role, but unfortunately he had to step down because of his health. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been nice to see him do a fourth season, but he did have quite a lot of stories, to be fair. 29, that's a pretty big amount.
It's even more than Pertwee. I mean, Pertwee did 5 seasons, but he had less stories. So Pertwee had 5 less stories than Hartnell, even though he did 2 more seasons than him.
Yeah, with the format changes, that's understandable.
Ooh.
Woo.
Ooh. Oh, you're telling us off now, are you, Doctor?
Yeah. You're doing a Clara on us. Do as you're told. Why is that Clara's most iconic line?
I'm so glad that Clara isn't in this story. She would have ruined it.
I'm going to change the future. Help them stop this. Omega.
You will send these people back to where they came from. We will stay there.
It's a fair deal.
I feel bad for Joe.
know now that you cannot give me my freedom, but you can keep me company. It's the endless years that lie ahead. If you will both stay here willingly and share my exile.
Well, the Doctor's already exiled. He doesn't want to share yours.
He's like, nah, fuck it.
I really like Joe there. She's like, oh, you can't, you know.
That's the thing with the Doctor. He risks everything, you know. No matter what, he puts others first and rather have them be safe than him.
Yeah.
Brand new Feather Boy, and remember.
Oh God, I hate that line. I want you to step through that kettle with
I want you
the
to step
steam
forward.
coming out.
Please, Brigadier, it's the only way.
Bring it down.
Not going in there.
Yeah, imagine the Doctor did stay there with with Omega for the rest of his life. He'd probably be boring as hell.
Yeah, wouldn't be a show, would there?
He would run out of things to talk about. He'd be like, "So did you watch the Euros last night?"
Yeah. We lost!
Could you imagine Pertwee said, "It's coming home"?
Oh.
I like the wee sound effect, that little fairy tale wand sound effect.
Oh. Yeah, the sounds are kind of cool. Go on, Joe. Save yourself.
No, I want to stay with the Doctor.
Oh.
She's so sweet.
She really cares for him. She's like, I want to stay with the Doctor. I want him to, come back home.
Yeah. Then I'm glad she finds happiness in the Green Death.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's only like 4 stories away until he says goodbye to her.
Yeah. But still, I think she's at her best from now until the end of the season.
Yeah, I like how he salutes before he leaves.
Oh, brother Time Lords, I have played your game. Now it is your turn to play mine. And there will be no escape.
Are we going to play cards?
You are wrong, Omega.
Omega.
You can have your freedom. It is here. This childish contraption. The only freedom you can ever have.
Oh dear.
Take it, Omega.
Uh-oh. Not going to work.
Take it. Commands. You command me. This is my world. I command. And you pester me with trinkets. Run!
Run!
Oh, shit. Omega's dead. Well, that's the end of the show. I mean, it did pretty well. I mean, it made it to 10 seasons.
Yeah, exactly. And who knew that the show would go on for another, few decades?
Yeah.
With gaps, of course.
Yeah. They're back home. Home sweet home.
It's coming home, Clara.
I love that line. Wonderful chap, both of them.
Oh, everyone's going back to normal.
I love this ending here. So funny. It's a great way to end the story.
That was the proper place for us. And as you know, accidentally fell into the first week of the so that when we were all transformed into ants, that was the only thing that wasn't processed. All the atoms, the anti-atoms, are there. So,
Oh.
black hole becomes a super.
Oh, this is just great. Like, they all have such great chemistry on screen together.
Oh, this is the final scene with Hartnell, the final ever scene.
Yes, well, the party organized. We're going to organize. We're not trying to.
Oh, it's the last time we ever see him, the first Doctor. The last time we ever seen the first Doctor. And now, well, the second Doctor's gone as well.
Oh, they're all gone.
I quite like that when Joe said he was so sweet. One of you is enough. Well,
Yeah.
more than enough.
And he's like, no, I'm happy to never ever see the Doctors again.
If anything is missing, wouldn't say it's gone.
Good old Brig.
Yeah.
See ya.
They all think he's mad if he said he went to antimatter universe.
Yeah. I mean, anybody would be scrambled up.
Yeah.
This is a nice ending with Doctor and Joe. Yeah, that's the thing about this. Like, the Doctor always has to contemplate his decisions, but if it's one of those situations where it's us or them, you know,
Yep.
I know what I would do.
So he can travel again. He can travel in space and time. You know, he's got his new dematerialization code, and they're giving him back all the knowledge. So this is the story where his exile ends.
Oh, nice.
I love this.
Well, so
I
that
love this
guy
bit.
made it home for tea.
I love this bit here.
That's kind of a funny way to end it.
Yeah.
Well, the Three Doctors. Wow. This is a fantastic story. Just so good. Couldn't have done a better anniversary celebration. It has everything. It has a great story, great villain, great doctors, great characters, great dialogue, great script. It's just fantastic. An easy 10 out of 10. And, you know, definitely, probably at the moment, my favorite John Pertwee story. Just so good. And it's a shame Hartnell couldn't be in the story more, but at least he's in it, you know. And I want to say goodbye, William Hartnell, because You know, he really brought the show to life, and also having Troughton back is nice. And you know, Pertwee continues to be fantastic as the Doctor. Katy Manning is great as Joe. Nick Courtney is good as the Brig. John Levine is also very good. You know, and Omega is a great villain. He's a bit over the top in places, but you can kind of understand why he's had a bit of a, you know, bit of a bad time psychologically in this other universe. So he kind of wants to get out, and you can kind of understand that, to be honest. But yeah, so yeah, the Three Doctors for me, easy 10 out of 10, instant classic, best of the season, and for me, best of Pertwee.
Yeah, I think it's a great story. I love it. And for me, it's definitely one of John Pertwee's best stories. It's not my favorite. I still prefer Inferno, if I'm being perfectly honest, but this is a very close second. I think my three favorite Pertwee stories are Inferno, The Three Doctors, and the Demons, and it's just a really great story. I mean, it's a great story to kick off season 10, the 10th anniversary season, and it's a great 10th anniversary story having, you know, the first Doctor and Patrick Troughton, the second Doctor, and there's just a lot of great things in it. I think Omega's great, Stephen Thorne. He's a bit over the top at times. He does boom out his lines, but he's great. He's definitely the best Omega, and he's way better than the Omega in Arc of Infinity. I don't know why they brought Omega back for that story,
They were
but
just kind of clutching at straws there. Yeah.
yeah. But I think it's great. I think the soundtrack's great. I think there's some great characters like Dr. Tyler, and I think the Brigadier's great. He's some great lines, like, you know, three of them. I didn't know when I was well off, and some other classic lines, like when the first Doctor sees the second and the third. Oh, so you're my replacements, a dandy and a clown. You know, very funny. And yeah, it's a shame it was Hartnell's last story, because you know, they wanted him to be in the studio with, you know, Troughton and Pertwee, but unfortunately he was too ill, so they filmed all his stuff in the studio with like these cue cards that he read, and I think he's still great. It's his last performance, and I still think he's very good, um, and yeah, it's a shame because a couple of the years after that story he passed away, but it's a great final, you know, time that we see him in the show. I mean, even though he doesn't appear in the studio, it's nice to see him on the monitor and talking to all the other doctors. And yeah, I think it's a great story. I like the return of you know, all these great characters from the past. Like I said, you know, Sergeant Benton, the Brigadier, and Joe's great in it as well. And yeah, Troughton and Pertwee are great. And I like that bit at the end, but the Doctor kind of regrets killing Omega, but you know, he had to do it because that was the only freedom he could give him. And yeah, I mean, it's a classic. It really is. It's, for me, the best anniversary story. There's been many anniversary stories since then, like the Five Doctors and Silver Nemesis and Day of the Doctor. But I think this is definitely the best. I think it's the best anniversary story and the best multi-Doctor story as well. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Full marks for me as well. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Well, thanks, Jack. Thanks for that. Oh, sorry, it's a very long day. So yeah, that's pretty much it for us. It's a shame we didn't get anyone contributing in the live chat, but never mind. We look forward to reading your comments. And what do you think of this story? Please comment down below. Let us know, and stay tuned when we commentate on more Doctor Who stories. And yeah, the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who will be upon us in the next 2 years. So maybe at some point we will do a discussion on all the anniversary specials so far. That would be cool. But anyway, that's all I've got to say. So, Jack, is there anything you want to say before we call it a night?
Just reverse the polarity of the neutron flow and reverse your DVD back to 0 so you can put it back in the box.
Hike! Anyway, thank you all very much for watching and listening. Thanks very much to Jack as well for joining me. And until next time, I'm Mr. Tarnus11. This is Jack the Film Fanatic. See ya.